when embarking on the journey to understand the essential nutrients for the legs. Starting with vitamin D is not a random choice. It's like examining the overall blueprint and foundation materials before delving into the details of each room in a house. Because vitamin D is the chief architect, the one who lays the solid foundation for the entire musculoskeletal structure, ensuring harmony and overall strength. If the skillful command of this architect is missing, the entire structure of leg health can hardly withstand the challenges of time and environmental impacts. We all know that the human body is a dynamic entity, constantly changing and developing. However, as the biological clock ticks through the decades, some changes become more pronounced, especially those related to the musculoskeletal system, with two parallel processes often occurring: the decline in bone mineral density, progressing from osteopenia to osteoporosis, and the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength, also known as age-related muscle wasting or sarcopenia. Bones become thinner, more porous like a dry sponge, easily damaged by even a slight impact, while muscles, once firm bundles of fibers, can now become weak, flabby, with reduced ability to generate force and endurance, like the situation of Mrs. Carroll, 72, living in a small town in Minnesota, who used to be very agile, but recently finds it harder to get up from her armchair after reading, having to use her hands to push off the armrests and gather momentum several times to stand up straight. Or like Mr. Richard, 75, in Oregon, who used to pride himself on his long-distance walking ability, now feels short of breath and his legs heavy after just a short distance. These experiences are not just annoying, they're also warnings of the functional decline occurring silently within the body. In this context, the role of vitamin D becomes extremely prominent, not just as the transporter of calcium into bones as we often hear, but vitamin D is actually a steroid hormone, a powerful signaling molecule capable of interacting with hundreds of genes in the body, controlling countless biological processes, including those directly related to muscle health and nerve function. Vitamin D deficiency is like switching off an important switch, disrupting a series of commands necessary to maintain the health and optimal function of the musculoskeletal system. The prevalence of vitamin D deficiency is alarmingly common in the older adult population globally due to a complex network of interwoven biological and lifestyle factors, creating a perfect storm leading to this deficiency. Firstly, skin aging significantly reduces the ability to synthesize vitamin D. Our skin contains the precursor vitamin D, 7-dehydrocholesterol, and when UVB rays from sunlight hit it, this precursor is converted into pre-vitamin D3, then rapidly into vitamin D3. But as we age, the amount of this precursor in the skin decreases significantly, while changes in skin structure also reduce the efficiency of this photochemical process. Consequently, a 70-year-old person might only produce about a quarter of the vitamin D compared to a 20-year-old, even if they sunbathe for the same amount of time, which explains why even older adults living in sunny regions like Florida or California can still be vitamin D deficient if they lack other sources of supplementation, like the case of Mrs. Agnes in Chicago, where winters are long and sunny days few, who, despite trying to go for walks, still felt her legs weakening partly due to her aging skin. Furthermore, changes in lifestyle and behavior also play a crucial role, such as older adults often spending more time indoors due to health problems, limited mobility, fear of falling, or simply changes in social habits, which means reduced opportunities for sun exposure. Moreover, awareness of the risks of skin cancer and sun-induced aging leads many people to use high SPF sunscreen or cover up thoroughly, inadvertently reducing or completely blocking vitamin D production through the skin. Dietary intake is also often insufficient to provide enough vitamin D, as very few natural foods contain significant amounts, except for fatty fish, cod liver oil, and egg yolks, which not everyone consumes regularly in sufficient quantities. The diet of older adults can sometimes become monotonous, or they may face dental problems, taste changes, or difficulties in meal preparation, leading to inadequate consumption of vitamin D-rich or fortified foods. Intestinal absorption capacity can also decrease due to certain gastrointestinal conditions like celiac disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, or gastric/intestinal surgery, as well as a general slight decline in fat absorption capacity with age. Finally, impaired kidney and liver function also have an impact because vitamin D absorbed or synthesized through the skin is initially inactive and needs to undergo 2 hydroxylation steps, one in the liver, one in the kidneys, to become the active form called calcitriol, 1,25-OH-2D, which is the actual hormone that exerts effects in the body. When liver or kidney function declines due to age or disease, this activation process is hindered, leading to reduced levels of active vitamin D even if reserves might still be present. Scientific research has consistently shown a close link between vitamin D status and muscle health, particularly in the lower limbs. Low blood levels of vitamin D are directly related to muscle weakness, especially in the proximal muscles like the thighs and hips. This weakness reduces the ability to maintain balance, increases reaction time when balance is lost, and ultimately leads to a significantly higher risk of falls. Many clinical trials have shown that vitamin D supplementation in deficient older adults can improve muscle strength and reduce the fall rate by 20 to 30%, as in the case of Mr. George, 80, in Vermont, who had fallen several times but walked more steadily after starting vitamin D supplementation. Vitamin D not only helps absorb calcium for bones, but calcium is also essential for muscle contraction. Vitamin D appears to have receptors, vitamin D receptors, VDR, directly on muscle cells, indicating it has a direct impact on muscle function, participating in regulating the flow of calcium into and out of muscle cells, a process essential for muscle contraction and relaxation, while also influencing protein synthesis in muscles, helping to build and maintain muscle mass. It also affects muscle fiber types, particularly type 2 muscle fibers or fast twitch fibers, which play a crucial role in generating rapid power and maintaining balance, helping to react promptly to prevent falls. Vitamin D deficiency can lead to selective atrophy of these type 2 fibers, impairing reflexes and increasing fall risk, whereas supplementation can help preserve and improve their function. Furthermore, vitamin D has anti-inflammatory properties, and maintaining adequate levels may help alleviate low-grade chronic inflammation that contributes to muscle pain and functional decline, including uncomfortable leg cramps. Although focusing on the legs, it must be emphasized that vitamin D plays a vital role in many other aspects of overall health. It is core to bone health, helping prevent osteoporosis and reduce the risk of fractures, especially hip fractures, a serious event in older adults. It also regulates the immune system, with low levels linked to increased risk of infections, autoimmune diseases, and some cancers. Some epidemiological studies show a link between vitamin D deficiency and increased risk of cardiovascular diseases like hypertension, coronary artery disease, and heart failure. And low vitamin D levels are also thought to be associated with an increased risk of depression and cognitive decline in older adults. Therefore, ensuring sufficient vitamin D is a comprehensive strategy to protect health, enhance quality of life, and prolong independence. To fill up the body's vitamin D levels, we can take proactive measures through the following approaches. Utilize sunlight smartly by spending about 10 to 30 minutes of exposure daily during mid-morning or mid-afternoon. Depending on skin type, geographic location, and season, exposing as much skin as possible without sunscreen for this short period, then protecting the skin if sun exposure continues. Noting that window glass blocks UVB and winter at high latitudes is less effective, prioritize vitamin D-rich foods such as fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, herring, sardines, cod liver oil, use correct dose, egg yolks, free range better, UV-exposed mushrooms, and especially fortified foods like cow's milk, plant milks, orange juice, breakfast cereals, yogurt, margarine. Always check nutrition labels. And finally, consider using dietary supplements, which are particularly necessary for many older adults, those who spend little time outdoors. EVA in low sun areas, have dark skin, are obese, have conditions affecting absorption, or have poor dietary intake. with the recommended daily allowance for people over 70 being 800 IU, but many experts recommend 1,000 to 2,000 IU for optimal benefits, preferably choosing the D3 form, cholecalciferol, for better efficacy, taken with a meal containing fat to enhance absorption. The best way to know if supplementation is needed and the appropriate dosage is through a blood test measuring 25-hydroxyvitamin D, 25-OH, D levels, and discussing with a doctor, with optimal levels generally considered above 30 nanograms per milliliter, ideally 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. In summary, do not underestimate the power of the sunshine vitamin. It is an indispensable foundation for sturdy legs, strong bones, and a resilient body. By combining sensible sun exposure, smart food choices, and considering supplementation when necessary under medical supervision, you are investing in your freedom of movement, independence, and quality of life for the years to come. Let vitamin D be your trusted companion on the journey to maintaining the strength of your legs.